Chardikla Time TV North America देख रहे सारे दर्शकों का वल पंजाबी न्यूज़ ਦੇ स्वागत है। मैं ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਿਦਮ ਖਬਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਰਨ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਮਾਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਖਾਸ ਹੈਡਲਾਈਨਸ ਤੇ। ਕੈਲੀਫੋਰਨੀਆ ਵਸਦੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਭਾਈਚਾਰੇ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗੀ ਦੋਹਰੀ ਸੱਟ। ਮਨਜੋਤ ਥਿੰਦ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀ ਹਰਮਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਗਰੇਵਾਲ ਦੀ ਹੋਈ ਮੌਤ। ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਅੱਤਵਾਦੀ ਹਮਲੇ ਦੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਚੇਤਾਵਨੀ। ਅਫਗਾਨਿਸਤਾਨ 'ਚ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਅੱਤਵਾਦੀ ਹਮਲਾ। पाकिस्तान च सरकारी कर्मचारी नहीं कर सकणगे सोशल मीडिया की वरतों। भारत ने बांग्लादेश नूं तोहफे वजों दित्तियां 40 एंबूलेंस। ते हुण खबरां विस्तार नाल। कनेडा रखिया मंत्री सरदार हरजीत सिंह सज्जन ने अफगानिस्तान के काबुल एयरपोर्ट उत्ते होए बंब धमाके की निखेधी की है। उन्हें यह भी दस्सिया कि कनेडियन आर्मड फोर्सिस पूरी तरह मौके उत्ते डटियां होईयां ने ते लोकां दी सुरक्षा लई पूरी तरह वचनबद्ध ने।
First of all, Evan, I just want to pass on my sincere condolences to all the family members who lost loved ones, the U.S. service members and the wounded as well, and also the Afghans, and condemn this terrorist attack when the rest of the world is just trying to help Afghans themselves. And to answer your question directly, yes, we were tracking the intelligence very closely from day one. This type of operation requires a significant amount of security, and maintaining that security is absolutely essential to carry out an operation like this when you have so many civilians coming into an aircraft and trying to, into an airport and then onto aircrafts. Is quite complex, and you saw the images of the crowds and you know the sheer desperation with the people outside. So during this time, obviously we maintained that security, and the decisions that we have made has been the result of making sure that our own personnel remain safe, and this is also for the safety of the Afghans who were trying to help as well. We had majority of our personnel did get on a flight before this. We do have a small team on the ground, and the Chief of Defence Staff reported to me very quickly when this incident occurred and that all our personnel were accounted for. In terms of the location, of course, our Canadian Armed Forces member were using every opportunity, including Abbey Gate and other locations, to get as many Afghans inside the airport and eventually to safety through evacuation. I want to make it very clear, our Canadian Armed Forces did extraordinary work to get as many people out. And as Chief of Defence Staff reported this morning, we were one of the last nations to actually come inside and keep pulling as many people out and getting into the airport. While our troops right now are focused on the safe evacuation of all our coalition personnel, obviously they will take if an opportunity comes up to bring somebody to safety, because this is what they've been doing from the beginning. But right now the immediate focus is the safety of our personnel and getting everybody, including the coalition.
ਕਾਬੁਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੰਬ ਧਮਾਕੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਅਫਗਾਨੀ ਨਾਗਰਿਕ ਉੱਥੇ ਵਸੇ ਹੋਏ ਆਪਣੇ ਰਿਸ਼ਤੇਦਾਰਾਂ ਲਈ ਕਾਫੀ ਚਿੰਤਿਤ ਨੇ। ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਚਿੰਤਾਵਾਂ ਸੰਬੰਧੀ ਬੋਲਦਿਆਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਬਣਿਆ। ਤੇ ਇਸ ਚਿੰਤਾ ਦੀ ਘੜੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਲੋਕ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਜਲਦੀ ਤੋਂ ਜਲਦੀ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਬਚੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਅਤ ਕੱਢਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ।
Every moment is a life-death situation inside Afghanistan as of now. Basically, it's a life and death situation. It's fear. Fear and life and death situation, because they see it. First of all, they can't go much outside. My sister can't go, and my nieces, they can't go. I want to see the concrete plan, what they are doing. Here we are that we can help. The organization that we are involved, we can help in that process. But I have not heard, or we have not seen any details of this program.
We are just in preparation mode, so we don't know the families that will arrive here. No, we were not able to get the exact number that is coming. I think everything is in planning stage, and people are coming, and nobody is sure where things are going.
Some organization, they want to sugarcoat the current situation in Afghanistan, which is wrong. For many Afghans, for millions of Afghans, inside Afghanistan, it's life-death situation.
ਸਸਤੀ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਸਿਆਸਤ ਕਾਫੀ ਕੇਂਦਰਿਤ ਜਾਪ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਪਲਾਨ ਐਲਾਨਿਆ। ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਜ਼ਿਕਰ ਕਰਦਿਆਂ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਜਗਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੌਜੂਦਾ ਸਮੇਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਜ਼ ਮਹਿੰਗਾਈ ਦੀ ਮਾਰ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੀ ਫੇਲ ਸਾਬਤ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਭਰੋਸਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੇਕਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਬਣਦੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਇਸ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੂਰਾ ਹੱਲ ਕੱਢਾਂਗੇ।
I also want to acknowledge the territories that we're gathered on before I continue. I want to acknowledge that we're on the Treaty 1 territory, the traditional land of the Anishinaabe, the Cree, the Ojibwe, the Dene, the Dakota, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. And as Melissa was stating, this housing is one of the biggest concerns that we hear from people. Across the country, people are worried about finding a place to call home. It is one of the biggest concerns in people's lives, and it is one of the biggest things that people need to be able to start their life. Melissa was pointing that out, that if you don't have a home, everything else in life is so much harder. It's harder to have stability. It's harder to be engaged in the community. Everything else in life is so hard. And for a lot of families, you can't even contemplate growing your family or taking a next step in life unless you have a place to call home. So it's so important. And that's why we are going to fight to make sure people have a place to call home. That live in a community, have roots in a community, have a job in that community, and can't stay there, not because they want to try a new community out, but because they simply can't afford to stay where they want. They can't stay where they've got family and roots. That is wrong. It shouldn't be that way. We know that people are competing with big money. There's big money in housing. We've heard recent news just a couple months ago of a U.S. firm that boldly declared they're going to purchase $1 billion of Canadian real estate. No one should have to compete. No Canadian should have to compete with these wealthy multinational corporations when trying to buy their first home. So our plan is to put people first, to make sure people like Gabriel and Nicole can find a home that's in their budget. And to do that, we want to focus on first-time home buyers. We want to double the first-time home buyers tax credit and convert it into a rebate. So it's not a tax credit you have to wait till tax time to receive, but it's a rebate that you get right away. So it can help you with the cost of housing. We want to get big money out of housing, particularly when it comes to buying your first home, by putting in an aggressive foreign buyers tax of 20% to discourage big money and make sure it's no longer that people have to compete with big money when buying their first home. We also want to come up with some more creative solutions. When it comes to buying a home, we want to open up the option for friends and family to be able to purchase a home and get CMHC-backed loans that they can purchase their first home. We want to extend the time for a mortgage so that people can find a home that's in their budget and actually be able to afford their mortgage. We are committed to this, and we want to commit to also building 500,000 new homes that are within people's budgets. We can do this. It's a matter of priority. And for the past number of decades, Liberals and Conservatives haven't made it a priority. We will commit to solving this housing crisis, making sure first-time home buyers get the help they need to buy their first home, to make sure we get big money out of housing, and make sure we invest in building more homes within people's budgets.
ਫੈਡਰਲ ਚੋਣ ਕੰਪੇਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਫਗਾਨਿਸਤਾਨ ਸੰਕਟ ਵੀ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਆਗੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਖ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕਾਬੁਲ ਤੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਗਰਿਕਾਂ ਤੇ ਹੋਰਨਾਂ ਭਾਈਵਾਲਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਾਹਰ ਕੱਢਣ ਦੇ ਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਮ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ। ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਵੀਰਵਾਰ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਆਖਰੀ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਜਹਾਜ਼ ਨੇ ਕਾਬੁਲ 에ਅਰਪੋਰਟ ਛੱਡਿਆ, ਪਰ ਕੁਝ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਨਾਗਰਿਕ ਤੇ ਅਫਗਾਨੀ ਲੋਕ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਹੀ ਰਹਿ ਗਏ ਨੇ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਸਿਰ ਜਹਾਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਫੜ ਪਾਏ।
First of all, this is a very difficult day, not just for Afghans, but for people around the world, including in Canada, who have long been deeply committed to the Afghan people and a better future for Afghanistan. The temporary air bridge that was put in place by the Americans over the past number of weeks allowed us to get out tens of thousands of people as an international community, and Canada will have been able to lift out about 3,700 people. We have taken as much, if not more, advantage of this temporary opportunity than any country, just about any of our allies. And I want to thank the Canadian Armed Forces and our diplomats and our hard-working immigration services people who have made that happen. But I do take issue with you saying now that our engagement with Afghanistan is done, Glenn. Our engagement with Afghanistan is not done. Yes, this phase of the emergency air bridge, facilitated by the Americans until they pull out finally, has been important and has been something we've been in wholeheartedly over the past many weeks. But our commitment to resettle over 20,000 Afghans in Canada in the coming months and years, our work to continue to support people in the region, our continued work to put pressure on the Taliban alongside our international allies to allow people to leave Afghanistan and come to safety in Canada will continue. This particular moment is done, and it's heartbreaking to see, but there is much more to do, and Canada will continue to be there for Afghans and the Afghan people.
ਫਿਲਹਾਲ ਵਰਲਡ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਬੁਲੇਟਿਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਨਾ ਹੀ। ਹੋਰ ਤਾਜ਼ਾ ਖਬਰਾਂ ਲਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੇਖਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਟੀਵੀ ਨਾਰਥ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਰਿਦਮ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਓ ਆ ਗਿਆ। ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।